All right, we are live. Reka Gobis, welcome to the future of fitness, my friend. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me, Eric. I'm
Yeah,
good, thank you. It's a
good.
pleasure to be here with you and to introduce myself to the industry a little bit and to talk about connected health and fitness and what we have planned for 2026.
Well, it's one of the highlights of the year for me. I always enjoy the event quite a bit, and been talking to you for months and seeing a little bit about how you guys are playing this out and the work that goes into it, of course. And I think anybody in this industry who's run an event or been adjacent to running an event knows that it's a lot. It's a lot, dude. There's a lot that goes into it and putting it
It's a
all
lot of
together.
work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it always turns out really good. And some of the things I like about it is that I feel specifically for what I do and what I'm interested in this podcast and the people I like to work with, they're all centrally located and accessible within the event. The content's excellent. And we're going to go over, of course, the categories that you guys have defined, which I believe, whether you go to the event or not, the research you guys have done to identify what topics are most valuable is really standalone value, full stop. So I want to get into all that, the updates for this year. I know you guys have some reports that you're going to be publishing, a bunch of other stuff. So before we get into all that, Reka, just give us a little bit of your background, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, of course. First of all, thank you so much for your kind words. That's very encouraging. It's good to know that we have a couple friends in the room. So I'm Hungarian, but I was born in Slovakia in a tiny city called Rimavská Sobota. And just to give you some background and perspective, the town actually has around 25,000 people, right? The Levi Stadium has 80,000 seats. So that's how small the town is from which I come from. And, growing up there has made a massive impact on my life and who I am today. I then moved to the UK when I was 15, which was a huge leap for me. Back then, it felt like I needed to decide on which way my life is going to go. I was always very into sciences and I was fascinated by healthcare, but I had a very entrepreneurial mindset as well. And so it was quite hard to make that decision at the age of 15, but I decided to go and study business. And that's what I did in London. And then I continued to the University of Leeds, where I did business management and marketing. And really during these 4 years, I have worked constantly during doing internships, and most of these were within the healthcare and life sciences sector. So this gave me the perfect opportunity to kind of merge my curiosity for the healthcare and sciences and later on tech with the more kind of strategic and commercial side of my brain. And it just confirmed for me that this is the intersection that I want to be in. And fast forward to 1 year ago, I joined Kisako Research, and I got the opportunity to run and to produce Connected Health and Fitness, which has been a truly rewarding experience, especially as someone fresh out of university, to be able to work on such a big event and in an industry that I'm truly passionate about. And, that gives me a real sense of purpose almost is just fantastic. So that's a little bit about my background, I guess, just so that I'm not a random person talking about industry updates.
Well, it's I admire the fact that you found something that you really enjoyed at a relatively young point in your career. I think, what was I doing around that time? I was just effing off mostly, making a paycheck and enjoying myself on the weekends. But I really didn't find any purpose until I started a CrossFit gym. So good for you. And let's do this too, Rick, if you don't mind, like reintroduce the audience to what Kisako Research is, like the company behind the event. I think that's a really important thing to know. That it's not just you guys just come and do one event every year. This is something you specialize in, and the actual research, because it's actually in the name of the company. That's part of what you guys do in a very deep way.
100%. So I think, to be very blunt, I think our mission at Kisako is very simple but quite powerful. So what we try to do each year with every single event is we bring both the most intensely researched conference program and the most influential network, right? So what we try to do is really help the businesses that we work together with to not just keep up with the changes, but also actively set and reset their businesses within the industry, right? And we work across 4 different portfolios. We have health, technology, legal, and consumer. Connected health and fitness is within the consumer portfolio. And although we are based in London, the majority of our events are in the US, and we build the majority of our events with the US in mind. So that's just
What are some of the other events you guys do outside of health and fitness?
Good question. So our biggest one is the AI Infra Summit. I'm pretty sure some of our audience might have heard about the AI Summit as well. It basically is a full stack AI infrastructure event. So that's one that we're running. Next year, we're launching into the dental industry. So we're going to create a C-level executive event for DSOs. So we're really just dipping our toes into different markets, and some of our events are super established in their own area.
Yeah, interesting. AI and dentistry, those are very unique selections that you guys have. I mean, artificial intelligence, of course, we're going to talk about it today. Comes up in every conversation.
We have different teams taking care of every single one of these events, so it definitely gives us an advantage to be able to get insight into so many different industries because, with fitness as well, we'll talk about this later, but there's so much overlap and there's so much that the healthcare industry can learn from other industries. So it does definitely give us an advantage, but that's not to say that we don't have dedicated teams to every single event, and they are experts within their own realms.
I love it. So tell us, I was at the event this year in February. What were some of I know there were some awards that were given out. There was, some very popular speakers. Maybe give from a high level, what are some of the highlights from this year that you thought were noteworthy?
Yeah, no worries. So we had some fantastic sessions in 2025, and most of them are actually followed up by either a webinar or a report. So I highly recommend everyone who's listening to this to go and check that out. GLP-1 was a massive topic for us. Corporate wellness was super. We've had Google and LinkedIn on stage talking about the newest in corporate wellness and how they are introducing holistic solutions for the employees within their organizations. So that was a big winner. And then, longevity has already started taking up back in February. So we had a great session with the YMCA on longevity, also Women's Health Symposium. But I think what you will find is when it comes to content, we will have a lot more time in 2026 to dive deeper into every single one of these topics. I don't want to spoil everything that I will say later, so I'm going to stop there. But those are some highlights from the agenda side. We've had our innovation showcase, which we've been running for 6 years, and next year is going to come back as well with a bit of a different focus. But for 2025, Coach 360 was our winner. Congratulations to them again. But that was a highlight of the event.
Yeah, awesome. And you guys are doing something a little bit different this year. I know you're. We'll get into the event for 2026 here in a second, but you're also releasing some reports in the meantime, which I think is a fairly new offering for you guys, right? Things that are publicly accessible, even if you're not at the event.
Yes, 100%. So what we're trying to do is just create more 360 touch points. It's very important because we are one event in a year. Our touch point, our main in-person touch point is in LA in February. So what we're trying to deliver to our audiences, what they've been asking us to do for years now, is really to keep in touch throughout the year and to feed them information throughout the year. So we're doing that through a couple different avenues, really. We have our quarterly webinars. So we ran one on the GLP-1s, as I mentioned, and we have a second one coming out on Health 3.0 and data and the data value chain in October. Again, hopefully we'll see the audience there as well, signing up for that. And we have our reports. That's the second way we connect and we share information. These reports are partially based on the information, the insight that was shared at the event in 2025, but also we are compiling the general industry insights from McKinsey, Deloitte, Women's Health, just articles that are published from investment pages to really create a proper industry update when it comes to those very specific topics. And all of these reports are for the operators, for our primary audience. So they are not just talking about, what's the newest in GLP-1 or what's newest in women's health. It's basically giving them actionable insight on what they can do and how they can apply this science.
There's a tremendous need for reports like that in our industry. I mean, I've talked to a lot of different people from different perspectives and roles within the industry, and having, especially for the executive level, of having some really valuable and actionable market reports on consumer data and things like that. Like there's a wide open need for something like that.
And I think, I'm the one who compiles the information for this research. And what I have found, for example, is for me, it's super helpful even to just go out to these different sources and bring them all together, right? And personalize it for the operators. I can only imagine how difficult it can be to keep up with all of this information if you're trying to run a business, right? The McKinsey report that came out on GLP-1s, we can talk about it later, was quite fascinating, but it took me half an hour to read, right? And it's just one report. So if I can bring together all this information into 8-page document that people can just skim through and be like, okay, I trust that if I implement this in my own business, I will be fine. It will be a good decision. Then that's what we're trying to achieve with those reports.
And where does one find those reports? Like if they want to sign up for any of like your webinars or get these reports, is it at the main website? Yeah. Where is it?
So it's shared on our main website, and we usually send out email communications about it. But I think the easiest way to access all of this is through our LinkedIn page, right? So we update our LinkedIn page weekly, not just with these big reports and with the webinars we have and with the upcoming activities we have, but also just general smaller news updates like our weekly roundups on Fridays. So that's
awesome. I didn't know that actually. So that's good to know. I will follow you guys on LinkedIn. Okay. So let's get into the big stuff, like the actual event. Walk us through it. Like what's where would you like to start on that? You want to talk about some of the major stages? Like take us away.
So I think I would like to just tell you really quick, set the scene. 2025 was amazing and it was great, but we're growing majorly for 2026.
Nice.
And so I just want to, reiterate our mission as well for the people who have joined us and for any new people that are joining us for 2026. So Connected Health and Fitness, the overall mission is to unite fitness, health, wellness, and tech, right? For the success of the operators and also the general community. Now, we're bridging the gap between these markets, and I want to highlight 3 keywords here. We're bridging the gap between these 3 markets in order to help the brands deliver science-backed, tech-enabled, and holistic solutions, right? And basically, Connected is coming back for the 7th iteration, and it's going to be a very unique event in the industry. I think I would like to highlight 3 different things about kind of what makes us different and why everybody should be there. So the first thing is definitely seniority. We have seen a lot of events pop up, and a lot of them have junior, mid-level professional representation, which is fantastic and it's super valuable. We are a bit different. We have around 50 to 60% of our audience year on year at C-level. And even though we're going to grow majorly for 2026, this is something we are going to stay true to. So what this means is really the conversations in the room are happening at a higher level, and they're being driven by the decision makers in the industry, the people who are in control of the budgets, the people who set the strategy, and the people who have the potential to build partnerships that are really shaping the future of the industry. And it just creates an environment where high level, meaningful deals can be made. Now, the second thing I want to emphasize is probably our ecosystem. And when I first joined the company and I started working on this event, I got like a 10-page document about all of the different stakeholders that we're trying to please. It was quite overwhelming, but amazing at the same time. I think a lot of the people who join us have quoted us to be the event where partnerships are formed. So just to tell you a bit more about kind of the audience and where we're growing. So again, we're doubling down on the operators. We will have 30 to 40% of the room from this primary audience. So these are your gyms, your boutiques, your health and wellness clubs, your hotels, your spas, and your longevity clinics now, because we're adding them as our operators as well. Then we're staying true to our heritage and our core. So we are bringing in the connected solution providers as well. Again, apps, wearables, the digital health player, they will represent about 20% of the audience. And now the third category I want to share with you is the healthcare ecosystem, right? So this is probably going to be the place where we grow the most for 2026. About 15% of the room is going to be senior representatives from not only your leading healthcare providers like Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic, but also pharma and insurance companies.
Interesting.
And the healthcare research part. So Harvard Medical, Stanford Medical, they're all going to be in the room sharing the science-backed data, right? And then except that, of course, we can't forget about our investors who are looking for the newest innovation. We've always had lifestyle brands, so athleisure, apparel, nutrition. We're bringing back Nike and Adidas for next year. And our solution providers. I left them the last, but they're just as important as any other category. So again, we're bringing in the equipment providers, the service providers, the consultants, really the people who drive the efficiency and the effectiveness in the industry. And yeah, that's a very high overview of the ecosystem. And then I know I keep talking on and on, but the last and most important thing is the research, right? That I already touched upon. So I think what makes our event truly unique and truly different is definitely the amount of time that we put into understanding the audience and understanding the challenges of our audience. So Kisako, as I mentioned, is a research company at its core, and every single one of our events is built on months and months of listening and investigating and speaking directly to the operators. And as a producer, I ask them questions like, what are your biggest challenges? What trends are you seeing in the market? What opportunities do you need more visibility on? And the promise is that if you tell me your problems now, then in a year, or in our case, in 6 months, we will deliver the content on stage and we'll deliver the solutions to you on stage at Connected Health and Fitness. So that's the gist of why we're doing 2026.
I think the healthcare ecosystem is really important. Like last year, I remember there was a panel on longevity or GLP-1s. So it was Dr. Bob Gabe, it was Jeff Sweefel, and it was John Kanarak, I believe, from the investor group. That was one where the room was packed, right? And I think there's this inevitable convergence that's happening right now between our industry and healthcare, which is a tremendous opportunity, right? But we need to take some time and actually educate ourselves if we want to speak that language, because I'll give everyone a hint. Healthcare is much bigger than fitness as far as an industry. And we need to, they're not going to come to us. We have to go to them. And in order to start to understand the language and make those connections, I think that's extremely valuable. It's not going to happen overnight, right? Because no one really knows what the vision is or how a health club can truly integrate into healthcare. We're looking at those models. It's evolving right now. But I think that's a really key thing is if you want to be in this industry in 5 to 10 years where this convergence is becoming more crystallized, then you should be at events like this starting to understand and meet people. So I think that's a really important quality of what you guys are doing next year.
Yeah. And there are advocates on the healthcare side as well. They are not easy to find, but when you find them, you suddenly get a opening into this whole group of people who really believe that fitness should just be part of healthcare and it should be integrated into prescribed solutions for patients.
Well, it's hard to argue that it shouldn't. And I don't know, that's a whole nother topic for us to cover on a different day, Reka. But let's get into the event. Marcus made us through like the stages and
Yeah.
Give us a journey here.
A journey, yeah. So as I mentioned, we're growing to 750. And really what that allows us to do is for the first time to run 2 stages at the same time. Now, I know that some people have said previously, oh, we love that it's all in one room. This way we can cover twice the topic and it will encourage people, hopefully, to bring their colleague along so that they're not missing anything as an organization. But yeah, we're going to have 2 studios and we're going to cover 4 themes across 2 days. So on day 1, it's growth and strategy on the first stage. So this is really tackling everything from revenue diversification to scaling models, right? For example, GLP-1s are going to come up, corporate wellness is going to come up, how to scale efficiently and how to keep the balance, for example, between human and AI while you're scaling. How do you keep security while you're scaling? There's really just a whole bunch of topics that we'll touch up on that are applicable not only for your gyms and not only for your boutiques, but also for hospitality and for your longevity clinics, as those guys are going to start to diversify and open new locations. And our second stage will be touching upon healthcare and longevity. This is super exciting. We are debuting our first Women's Health Symposium, which is especially exciting for me. And this stage is basically going to cover all of your science-backed data, right? All of your science-backed trends. And also figuring out how the science-backed trends can be translated into programming for the operators. Now, on day 2, we're changing the 2 themes. So on the first stage, we'll be covering data and technology. So this is everything from your data value chain to health 3.0 and how can fitness become embedded in healthcare, health 3.0. We're going to be having our first ever AI symposium, which is a bit of a different take on how we do sessions around AI. It's not going to be your boring panel that you usually see. Yeah. And our last stage is our community and member experience stage, where we basically turn the lens on the consumer and we'll be talking about strategies to engage different generations, the rise of fitness racing as a global phenomenon, and just the critical need to tackle social isolation. So yeah, those are a couple topics that we'll be touching up on.
Yeah, those are pretty meaty. Are you guys announcing any of the speakers yet? Is there anything you can highlight there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So for on the speaker side, we basically launched with a very, very, very strong 50 plus VIP speaker lineup. And I'm very proud to say that we have fantastic experts covering our operator side, right? So we have your Lifetime, your Equinox, your Third Space, and David Lloyd from abroad. We're going to have Exponential and Barry's and Bar 3 and The Well, New York City. So everyone who matters is going to be in the room. We also have some very exciting new players. Hyrox is a relatively new player in America, but Hyrox is going to be there. So yeah, it's a fantastic lineup. And what I'm trying to concentrate on from now on is really announcing those not expected speakers almost, right? So I don't want to spoil anything, but we're tweaking our strategy, our speaker strategy a little bit for next year. So we have a super strong base with our operator speakers already and our healthcare speakers already. And now we're going to be announcing speakers who you would not expect to be on stage. I can't give away too much. So take this as a little surprise element.
Yeah, I like it clandestine. So it's not just about the speakers at events like this, right? And that's something I think that anybody who goes to industry events realizes, like, you learn a lot from the speakers. For me, I always identify a couple of podcast guests that I want to try to grab and get a recording time with. But a lot of it is the connections. 750 people there, high level C-suite. I know you guys have some different areas outside of just the content, but a couple things. So questions for you is, how do you help facilitate conversations, right? And then outside of the media and the content itself, like, what are some of the other experiences that you guys are looking to create for next year?
Yeah. Great question. So I think experience in 2026 is going to be super important. I'm going to address your meetings question first. So I think a lot of our previous attendees will agree with this, but our one-on-one meeting app is super efficient and really good in connecting people on site. We are growing to 750, which is a big jump from the 400 that we were last year, but we're still going to stay at the Fairmont Century Plaza. So all of those people will be still in the same room as last year. And they will just have to talk to each other. Otherwise, it's going to be awkward. No. I'm just joking. So the meeting app is definitely the way we connect just everyone on site, but also, for our partners and for our VIP guests, we do provide kind of previously set up meetings as well. Right. So there's a couple different avenues that people can take. And we do have, I think it's like 15 plus hours of networking over those 2.5 days. So yeah, that's the networking part. Now for the extras, and this is all just super exciting for me, because as much as I love the content, I also love the creativity that needs to go into the experience part. And next year, we are doing a bit different with our expo hall. We are creating a pop-up gym and a pop-up recovery and wellness zone for the first time. So this is for our equipment providers to showcase their products. We will be running equipment tours throughout the event, but really imagine like a space within the space, right? So you will walk into the expo hall and there's going to be this build out almost in the middle of the expo hall where you can go in and actually interact with the products that our partners are presenting. There's going to be a lot of gamification. We already have fantastic partners on board like Lifetime. So yeah, it's a fantastic initiative on that side. And we're going to have a dedicated workout zone for the first time. So last year, I'm not sure if you remember, but Gabby Reese ran a breathwork session.
Yeah, I did that. That was great.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's great. And so we got a lot of great feedback on that. So this year we're dedicating an entire room to workouts. So High Rocks and Natural Pilates are already signed up. So High Rocks will be running one of their competition classes, and Natural Pilates will be doing Pilates and a mobility workout. But really, this workout session will be dedicated to just for people to take a break, to go move their body a little bit. We're going to have breathwork sessions. We're going to have Pilates sessions. We're going to have yoga, strength conditioning. So every opportunity we have basically during the 2.5 days, there's going to be something running on that in that room. And what else do we have? Innovation Showcase. I mentioned this previously. So let me tell you a bit more about this because this is super exciting as well. So the Innovation Showcase next year is a bit more focused. So rather than targeting the entire fitness, wellness, and health community, we have put it on our tech stage, tech and data stage, and we're asking startups within fitness, wellness, and health tech particularly to apply to present on stage in front of what is 750 industry leaders, right? And some of the most influential investors. So it's more tech focused for next year. It gives the next disruptors a opportunity to present themselves.
Awesome. Yeah, with the all those experiences, here's what I've noticed over the past year is like, I think the traditional convention conference model of like, there's this huge conference hall, right? And there's just stuff and you walk around, which is great. You get to see a lot of things and meet people and check out new stuff. But, one of the things I think that Eddie nailed last year at his Athletech event was what you guys are leaning into this year as well, is like the actual experience. Like, it's not just going to a booth and checking it out. It's like, no, bring people in, right? Maybe put it into something they can feel and touch and experience, which is, that's part of what we do as an industry. Like everything we do is experiential, right? That's the whole point. It's hospitality. So yeah, I think it's an awesome move.
Yeah. And there's going to be, gamification taking place in that pop-up gym. So it's just very exciting. There's so much opportunity that we can work together with our partners on.
Awesome. One of the things that we're going to be working on together too, or I'm going to be helping with, is the media lounge too. So maybe touch on that. I know in past years, like you guys are welcoming, local media or industry media to come in and cover it, which has always been like, kind of stuck in a closet somewhere trying to record. You guys have always been more accepting and welcoming of the podcast realm, especially. So give us some insights on that.
Yeah. So we're, again, dedicating an entire room to our media next year. Depending on how many of you guys are going to be in the room, maybe even 2 separate rooms, one for podcasters and one for just people who want to do quick interviews, photo shoots, etc., etc. But yeah, it's going to be a big development on that side as well. I think for next year, we are going to develop the influencer side of the business way more as well. And by influencers, I also mean social media influencers, but more, the big people, the big names in the industry when it comes to longevity and health and just generally fitness or like strength training, let's say. So we really want to make sure that everybody gets that VIP experience. And this is how one of the elements of how we're trying to achieve this is to have a dedicated media space where they can come and do interviews and have reviews of the different sessions. And of course, our podcasters are very important for us. So they will get their own room as well.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So it's coming up. Give us the details here. So it's February. Is it 18th? Give us the dates. Where do people go to sign up and just follow? Like, what would you like people to do next?
Yes. So 18th to 20th of February, 2026. It's going to be at the Fairmont Century Plaza in LA, so same location as last year. I think what's very important to know is currently for operators, and this is crazy, the tickets are free, right? So if you're VP level and above, you can buy free tickets as an operator to the event up until November. On November 7th, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. So, and we're going to go back to our old prices.
Say that again, because that's really important. So They have until November 7th, right?
November 7th.
And how do you qualify for the free tickets?
If you're a VP level and above operator.
Okay.
Right? So that can be from a gym, from a boutique fitness studio, health and wellness club, hospitality, so hotels, spas, longevity clinics. So everybody from our primary audience can come for free if they sign up until November 7th. And then everybody else does not get that privilege, unfortunately. But our early bird tickets, I believe, are ending today. So they might have some time to still grab those early birds.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I'm not that fast. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, yeah, that's fine. Completely fine. But in terms of standard tickets, they will be open on our website, connectedhealthandfitness.com, I think until November as well. We have standard rates. So everybody else can purchase their tickets on the... And of course, if you would like to partner with us, whether that's for a thought leadership session on our stages, or it's in our pop-up gym, or it's sponsoring our workout zone, because that is an option as well, just reach out to us. Or as the Caroline is the perfect person to reach out to. We can pop her details into the description below.
And Reka, if people want to get in touch with you, where do you send them? Are you active on socials, email? What would you like?
So I think best way to connect with me is through LinkedIn, right? It's just my name, Reka Gobis, or through email, which is reka.gobis@kisakoresearch.com. I guess you will also pop that into the description.
Yeah,
but yeah, email is best, or LinkedIn. I'm usually way faster on LinkedIn.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Reka, thank you for spending your Friday afternoon giving us the insights on all this. This is it's really exciting. And like I said, I urge people to show up. I'll be there, obviously, and it's one of the few ones that I mark my calendar way in advance. So, well done. Excited for what you guys have, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to meeting everyone in February.
Ladies and gentlemen, Reka Gobis. Well done.